Grapevine Lake, a small and charming town nestled in the rolling hills of central Texas. Known for its picturesque landscapes and a tight-knit community, the town boasts a rich history and a welcoming atmosphere. To the shock of many, a mutilated body was discovered on the banks of Grapevine Lake on the morning of September 14, 2016. The body had been described as found in a severely mutilated state. The remains were found burnt and dismembered in a blue kiddie pool. The condition of the body indicated extreme violence and had suffered significant post-mortem mutilation. Upon first inspection, investigators were unable to determine the age or even the gender of the victim because of the sheer brutality of the crime. On the same morning of the gruesome discovery, a young girl was reported missing by her friends after she did not return home following a night out. The young girl in question was 24-year-old Jacki Vandagriff. She was described by her friends as a vibrant, kind-hearted, and ambitious individual.
Hello everyone, my name is Jacki Vandagriff, but friends call me Jackie.
She had a lively personality and a passion for fitness and nutrition, studying these subjects at Texas Women's University.
I am currently a junior here at Texas Women's University, and my major is nutrition with an emphasis in wellness.
The missing persons report provided a link between the unidentified body and the now missing Jacki Vandagriff. Investigators were able to positively identify the remains as Jacki's by means of fingerprinting the following day. On the night that she went missing, Jacki went to a bar called the Fry Street Public House in Denton, Texas to inquire about a job. Once investigators learned of this, they acquired surveillance footage from the bar where Jacki is seen conversing with the bartender and an unknown man. Caitlin Mathis, an 18-year-old student at the University of North Texas, had known this man all too well. Caitlin Mathis had been seeing a 29-year-old man by the name of Charles Bryant. Their relationship had started 3 months prior to Jacki's murder in the town of Denton. Within a few weeks of the relationship, Caitlin had started to have her doubts about their relationship, describing Bryant as manipulative and narcissistic. In August of 2016, Caitlin ended the relationship with Bryant. A week after their breakup, Caitlin had moved away from her mom's home to a dorm room at her campus. She heard a knock on the door, and to her surprise, it was Charles Bryant. This was extremely disturbing to her, as she had never shown him this residence. Caitlin contacted the police, and Bryant was arrested. Captain Jeremy Polk, who was then a lieutenant for the UNT campus police, recognized the name on the police report. Captain Polk had arrested the same man the night prior on the campus property. The reason he had pulled Bryant over was because he was driving erratically and suspected he was intoxicated. It was determined that he was under the legal limit, but still detained because of outstanding tickets. Captain Polk spoke with Caitlin and found that she was genuinely afraid of Bryant. He then issued a no trespass order which banned Bryant from the campus property. A week later, Caitlin started a new job at Buffalo Wild Wings. On her first day on the job, Charles Bryant managed to track her down and entered the restaurant to try and talk to Caitlin. Fearful of Charles, Caitlin quit her job and returned to her old job almost a 30-minute drive away. On the 6th of September, exactly 3 months after they had initially met, there was another knock at Caitlin's dorm room. It was Charles Bryant. Caitlin hid in the closet and called the police immediately. When they arrived, Bryant had already left the area, but had left behind flowers and a 2-page long letter for Caitlin. Police located him 10 minutes later in jogging attire on the campus and arrested him for trespassing. He was able to get bail and was released later that same day. He sent an email to Caitlin reading, "Here I am heartbroken and with a criminal record for bringing the girl I love flowers." He had created new email accounts just to send this to Caitlin, as she had blocked all his previous contact details. Bryant was then arrested the next day by Captain Polk, this time for stalking. He was able to pay a $5,000 bail and was released 2 days after his arrest. On September the 13th at 7 p.m., Charles visited Fry Street Public House. a popular bar in the area. Caitlin was the one who told him about the bar while they were still dating. The bar was only half a mile from the campus residence where Caitlin was living. An hour after Bryant arrives, a young girl named Jacki Vandagriff walks into the bar, inquiring about a job. She ends up staying, talking to the bartender and a man at the bar, Charles Bryant. Jacki posted this on her Twitter while at the bar. "I'm glad I got off Tinder and walked to a bar." At around 9 p.m., Jacki and Bryant are seen leaving the bar. They head to another bar in the area where they engage in conversation with other girls. At around 9:45 p.m., everyone begins to leave as a result of the rain. Jacki and Bryant leave together. Sometime after that, they are seen together at a convenience store in Bryant's car. This would be the last time Jacki is ever seen alive. A day after Jacki's body was discovered, a tweet went out from her profile. Police found this very disturbing and knew it had to be the killer. They knew they had to identify the man seen in the surveillance footage as fast as possible, and one way was to track down the other girls that Jacki and the unknown man were speaking to at the different bars. Police got extremely lucky when one of the girls produced a business card that was given to her by the man, a fitness instructor by the name of Charles Bryant. Investigator John Luna, a captain with the Grapevine Police Department, then learned of Bryant's previous restraining order and the incident with Caitlin. This led him to believe that Bryant was a strong suspect for the brutal murder. To the frustration of the investigators, there was no other physical evidence linking Bryant to the murder. In the days following the murder, Caitlin received numerous emails from Bryant, with one having an image of a tree at Grapevine Lake, close to where the body of Jacki Vandagriff was found. Caitlin was terrified and contacted Captain Polk, informing him of the breach of the restraining order she had against Bryant, which then led him to being arrested again. Whilst in custody, investigators obtained a search warrant for the home of Charles Bryant. It had already been 4 days since the murder, ample time for Bryant to dispose of any evidence. Despite this, investigators still found a few key pieces of evidence. They had found a large hunting knife in his home, believed to have been used to dismember Jacki's body. Another noteworthy piece of evidence was the purse belonging to the now deceased Jacki Vandagriff, found in a blue trash bag in Bryant's garage. Furthermore, investigators were able to find surveillance footage of Bryant purchasing a shovel from Walmart at 4 a.m. the same morning that Jacki had gone missing. Investigators also found evidence of the kiddie pool being present in Bryant's yard prior to it being used to dispose of Jacki's body, as well as a stun gun containing trace evidence of Jacki's DNA. Despite the mounting evidence, when being questioned, Charles Bryant was sticking to his story. He does not remember anything. Even though investigators were certain they had their guy, there was actually no concrete proof that he had murdered Jacki Vandagriff. It was clear that he had disposed of her body, but the actual cause of her death and who had caused it would not be clear-cut in front of a jury. With Bryant reluctant to share any information about the crime, the local authorities decided to call in a specialist who might be able to get more information out of Charles Bryant. Jim Holland, a Texas Ranger, implemented specialized interview techniques to get Bryant to open up to him. Holland says that perpetrators of these kinds of crimes usually do want to talk about what they've done. You just have to help them get comfortable. Utilizing these techniques, Holland was able to get Bryant to start talking. He suddenly remembered seeing Jacki come into the bar, even recalling offering her a ride home. Holland asked Bryant if he had imagined that Jacki was Caitlin while the events of the evening played out. His answer was no. However, Holland surmises that Bryant saw Jacki by chance at that bar, and her overwhelming resemblance to Caitlin began to eat away at Bryant. He decided to take out his revenge on Caitlin by murdering the girl he had just met. As the interview continued, Ranger Holland's mission was to get as much information on the crime as possible. So he began chiseling away at Bryant. He asked him if there was any sexual element to the crime, to which Bryant answered he did not recall. After a further 3 hours in the interrogation room, Bryant claimed that they did have sex. He also claimed that it was initiated by Jacki, who wanted to be choked with a zip tie while they engaged in sexual activity. The zip tie was later found in Brian's vehicle with strands of Jacki's hair still attached to it. With Ranger Holland's years of interrogation room experience, he is often called the human lie detector. He says without a shadow of doubt that Charles was lying about his sexual encounter. This was later confirmed by the medical examiner, who stated that there was no evidence of sexual activity leading up to the discovery of Jacki's body. Bryant also claimed that neither him nor Jacki tightened the zip tie, suggesting that it must have accidentally snagged on something. Ranger Hollands again suggests that this was not accurate. Although Bryant was still reluctant to share more details on the actual murder, during Holland's memory exercises, Bryant provided horrific details of how he dismembered, burnt, and disposed of Jacki's body. After a lengthy 6-hour interrogation, police felt that they had enough to charge Bryant with the murder of Jacki Vandagriff, even though he had still not confessed to the murder. Caitlin Mathis, Charles Bryant's ex-girlfriend, wanted to learn more about the murder he committed and made a horrific discovery. She found that Jacki had sent her a friend request on Facebook after she had been murdered. This could have only been done by Bryant himself, proving how deep his obsession for Caitlin was. When the trial had begun, Charles Bryant's defense team was adamant that the whole thing was a tragic accident brought on by the consumption of alcohol and impaired judgment. The prosecuting team knew that this defense was weak and were confident that they had plenty of evidence to convict Charles Bryant. However, they had to keep in mind that most, if not all, juries would want to see a clear motive. The prosecution wanted to bring Caitlin forward to testify against Charles Bryant, hoping to help clarify a motive by surfacing his behavior as a stalker and how this behavior could easily transition into murder. The judge, however, did not allow Caitlin to testify, as Bryant had never formally been convicted as a stalker. In April of 2018, a jury went in to deliberate the facts. The defense was confident that there was not enough evidence to convict Charles Bryant of the murder. However, there was no doubt in his role in dismembering and disposing of Jacki's body, a far less punishable crime than murder. The jury returned in less than 2 hours of deliberation to find the accused, Charles Bryant, guilty of the murder and dismemberment of Jacki Vandagriff. Because the prosecutors were unable to prove that Jacki was either raped or kidnapped, Charles Bryant avoided the death penalty and was instead sentenced to life in prison. As we close this chapter on the tragic story of Jacki Vandagriff, our hearts go out to her family and friends. Continue to live with the pain of losing someone so full of life and potential. Jacki was a daughter, a friend, and a bright light, extinguished far too soon. Her memory will forever be cherished by those who knew her best. We must also acknowledge Caitlin, who found herself entangled in a horrific situation through no fault of her own. The strength and resilience shown by those connected to this tragedy remind us of the importance of community and support during the darkest of times. Let us remember Jacki not for the way her life ended, but for the joy she brought to those around her. And let us honor her memory by seeking justice and advocating for the safety of all individuals so that no family has to endure such a devastating loss. Thank you for watching, and please take a moment to reflect on the importance of compassion and kindness in a world that can sometimes feel overwhelmingly cruel.